Violence is not the answer, but neither is peace. When you can't find someone to follow, you have to find a way to lead by example. Some women being empowered does not prove the patriarchy is dead. It proves that some of us are lucky. I believe feminism is grounded in supporting the choices of women even if we wouldn't make certain choices for ourselves. I would rather be a bad feminist than no feminist at all. With my writing, I generally just pretend that no one's reading it. I allow myself that delusion so that I can write the things that I write. We all have history. You can think you're over your history. You can think the past is the past. And then something happens, often innocuous, that shows you how far you are from over it. The past is always with you. As a woman, as a fat woman, I am not supposed to take up space. And yet, as a feminist, I am encouraged to believe I can take up space. I live in a contradictory space where I should try to take up space but not too much of it, and not in the wrong way, where the wrong way is any way where my body is concerned. To be clear, the fat acceptance movement is important, affirming, and profoundly necessary, but I also believe that part of fat acceptance is accepting that some of us struggle with body image and haven't reached a place of peace and unconditional self-acceptance. Change requires intent and effort. It really is that simple. We should be able to say, "This is my truth," and have that truth stand without 100 clamoring voices shouting, giving the impression that multiple truths cannot coexist. Because at some point, doesn't privilege become beside the point? I have never considered compassion a finite resource. I would not want to live in a world where such was the case. On bad days, though, I forget how to separate my personality, the heart of who I am, from my body. I forget how to shield myself from the cruelties of the world. People do terrible things all the time, but we don't regularly disown our humanity. We disavow the terrible things. I was broken and then I broke some more, and I am not yet healed, but I have started believing I will be. I found ways to hide in plain sight, to keep feeding a hunger that could never be satisfied, the hunger to stop hurting. In our culture, we talk a lot about change and growing up, but man, we don't talk nearly enough about how difficult it is. There is no pleasure to be had in writing about trauma. It requires opening a wound, looking into the bloody gape of it, and cleaning it out, one word at a time. Only then might it be possible for that wound to heal. The past is always with you. Some people want to be protected from this truth. You don't necessarily have to do anything once you acknowledge your privilege. You don't have to apologize for it. You need to understand the extent of your privilege, the consequences of your privilege, and remain aware that people who are different from you move through an experience. Unlikable women refuse to give in to that temptation. They are, instead, themselves. They accept the consequences of their choices, and those consequences become stories worth reading. You have to be consistent. You have to be yourself. You have to be committed to what you're doing. You have to not be afraid to be ambitious. What does it say about our culture that the desire for weight loss is considered a default feature of womanhood? Salvation is certainly among the reasons I read. Reading and writing have always pulled me out of the darkest experiences in my life. Stories have given me a place in which to lose myself. They have allowed me to remember. They have allowed me to forget. They have allowed me to imagine different endings and better possible worlds. Trauma shapes all our lives, in so many ways. We are walking wounds, but I am not sure any of us know quite how to talk about it. I don't read the comments anymore, unless they are moderated. Which is not to say censored, but I don't need to read someone saying, "You're ugly." This is what most girls are taught, that we should be slender and small. We should not take up space. We should be seen and not heard, and if we are seen, we should be pleasing to men, acceptable to society. And most women know this, that we are supposed to disappear, but it's something that needs to be said, loudly, over and over again, so that we can resist surrendering to what is expected of us. My father believes hunger is in the mind. I know differently. I know that hunger is in the mind and the body and the heart and the soul. I believe women not just in the United States but throughout the world deserve equality and freedom, but no, I am in no position to tell women of other cultures what that equality and freedom should look like. Don't tear other women down, because even if they're not your friends, they are women and this is just as important. Roxanegay, born October 15, 1974, was born in Omaha, Nebraska, to Michael and Nicole Gay, both of Haitian descent. Her mother was a homemaker and her father is owner of GDG Betonnet Construction, a Haitian concrete company. Gay is a cousin of Claudine Gay. Gay was raised Catholic and spent her summers visiting family in Haiti. She attended high school at Phillips Exeter Academy in New Hampshire. Gay began writing essays as a teenager, with much of her early work being influenced by her experience with childhood sexual violence. Her parents were relatively wealthy, supporting her through college and paying her rent until she was 30. After matriculating from Phillips Exeter Academy in Exeter, New Hampshire, Gay began her undergraduate studies at Yale University, but dropped out in her junior year to pursue a relationship in Arizona. She completed her undergraduate degree at Vermont College of Norwich University, and also earned a master's degree with an emphasis in creative writing from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Gay received a Ph.D. in Rhetoric and Technical Communication from Michigan Technological University in 2010. She was inducted into the Omicron Delta Kappa Circle. Roxane Gay is an American writer, professor, editor, and social commentator. Gay is the author of the New York Times best-selling essay collection Bad Feminist 2014, as well as the short story collection Aidi 2011. The novel An Untamed State 2014, the short story collection Difficult Women 2017, and the memoir Hunger 2017. Gay was an assistant professor at Eastern Illinois University for 4 years before joining Purdue University as an associate professor of English. In 2018, she left Purdue to become a visiting professor at Yale University. Gay is a contributing opinion writer at The New York Times, founder of Tiny Hardcore Press, essays editor for The Rumpus, co-editor of Pank, a nonprofit literary arts collective, and the editor for Gay Mag, which was founded in partnership with Medium.